Okay. So thank you, friends, for this opportunity to talk to you about my life, uh, which is a very difficult thing because it's very difficult to talk about one's own self. Well, anyways, I'm going to talk to you about my transition. In fact, you've had glimpses of it many times. And this kind of transition, uh, you know, can happen to anybody. But today I will be talking about transition of my state of mind uh, in the backdrop of my own life. But before I start, I must thank Pankaj Mani. Um, he posted uh, something in the other group, first step, and that set my mood for the day. Uh, he posted that there is going to be, he posted a teaser of a documentary which is to be released in May 2024 in US on the life of Swami Vivekanand. Thank you so much, Pankaj Mani, for doing that because, you know, my spiritual life started at the feet of Swami Vivekanand. And by corollary, by the blessings of uh, Ramakrishna Mission. Well, how it happened, I will talk during the course of my uh, talk. 3 days back, Arunji asked me to speak something on literature. And I had to confess that I am no more interested in literature, which quite shocked him. And then he asked me to share my story. Well, friends, my association with literature has been right from the cradle. होश संभाला तो खुद को बुक्स और मैगजीन्स के बीच में पाया. Blitz, Illustrated Weekly, Reader's Digest, Sarika, Kadambini, etc., etc., etc. These used to be all over our house. And as I grew, I transitioned from reading Enid Blyton, Mills and Boone, and Sherlock Holmes to reading British classical literature, Russian masters such as Dostoevsky, Pushkin, Turgenev, Chekhov, and Tolstoy, and also some great masters from our own Indian tradition. My basic training as a science graduate gave me a logical and empirical mind with which I approached literature. Literature was my lifeline, in fact, till about 20 years back when my internal transition started happening. Wordsworth, whom I found least interesting in my masters, his ode, Intimations of Immortality, started to appeal to me. Out of all the works of T.S. Eliot, his Murder in the Cathedral became my favorite. His lines, "The last temptation is the greatest treason, to do the right deed for the wrong reason. For those who serve the greater cause, make the cause serve them." If you can guess, it talks about what we call aham bhav in our shastras and how catastrophic it can be for spiritual life. This piece haunted me for days together. Another play which fascinated me in those days was Marlowe's Dr. Faustus. It is the story of a well respected German scholar who becomes dissatisfied with the limits of traditional forms of knowledge in logic, in medicine, in law, and religion, and decides to learn and practice necromancy, the black magic. And he offers his soul to the devil in exchange for 24 years of unrestrained worldly pleasures. This play deals with religion, sin, and repentance, and all the moral questions surrounding man's relationship to God. On the final night, before the expiration of the 24 years, Faustus is overcome by fear and remorse. He begs for mercy, but it is too late. His last soliloquy, when the clock strikes 12, is heart-rending. I have been obsessed by this play ever since. It was during those days that I started enjoying American transcendentalists like Henry David Thoreau, Ralph Waldo Emerson, and Walt Whitman. So at this time, I was moving towards a special kind of literature which had God, religion, and morality issues at its core. Around this time, I happened to attend a book fair in Pragati Maidan, Delhi, where I found myself fixed in front of a stall put up by Chinmaya Mission, and out of sheer curiosity, I picked up a book on meditation. The book kept lying on my study table for quite some time. And when, during the winter vacation, I started reading it, I, along with my family, were shocked at my response. Without any rhyme or reason, my tears wouldn't stop flowing while I read the book, and putting it down was out of question. This incident changed the direction of my life. All literature went out of the window. and I set out reading books of the spiritual genre. Now, here I'll give it a break and say something about my encounters with Bhagavad Gita, which played a pivotal role in my life. My first rendezvous with this phenomenal treasure happened when I was in class 12. My father had gifted me a translation of Bhagavad Gita by Dr. S. Radhakrishnan. I started to read it twice with a gap of 2 years. In both the readings, first chapter went hassle free because it was a very interesting story about the two sides of the armies, who was who. But I couldn't go beyond it because second chapter simply went over my head. And after my second attempt, I gave up the effort for good. In the 90s, when I was going through a psychologically low phase in my life, I came across the books by Swami Ram. We have mentioned Swami Ram in our group many a times. And I frantically read almost all his books. Again, I started his commentary on Bhagavad Gita by the name of Perennial Psychology of Bhagavad Gita. It had a huge introduction in which he talked about the allegorical aspect of Bhagavad Gita. Very interesting reading it was. And again, I enjoyed his interpretation of the first chapter, but got stuck at the second chapter. More than 20 years passed, and Bhagavad Gita wouldn't give way to me. I was unable to knock the rock, so to say. In the meantime, I tried to recite it. Since I couldn't understand it, I thought I might as well learn to recite it only. So, taking help from a next door professor of Sanskrit, I started it. As there were no cassettes, CDs, or videos available in those days, I tried to correct my uchcharan by using phonetic symbols of English language, and thus I corrected two chapters, completed two chapters. Once again, I got stuck because my guide in this, the professor of Sanskrit, changed her job and went away. And again, I was stranded for a pretty long time. Meanwhile, as a senior in my job, I was involved in the college affairs, head over heels, and Bhagavad Gita took a back seat in my mind. And, anyways, no help was to be found around me. And so, like this, without any knowledge from Bhagavad Gita, I retired in 2017. And then came COVID, a time of seclusion and isolation. grief, and fear, but also a time when I was exposed to digital media in a very big way. At this time only, I first heard of Zoom sessions and joined one taken by Mandisa. He's my city mate. In fact, he guided me in operating it. For the first time, I realized that YouTube is not only a platform for entertainment, movies, stand up comedies, and songs, but also for serious inquiry. Mandy Sir's Zoom sessions on Gurubani were acting like a balm when, during one of my telephonic talks with Arunji, he mentioned having attended the lecture of a Pravarajika Divyananda Prana of Ramakrishna Mission. I tried searching for her on YouTube, and lo and behold, an entire list of her lectures appeared, and also appeared one or two videos of a young monk of the same order. Out of sheer curiosity, I listened to four or five of his videos randomly. There was plenty of time during COVID. There was no socialization, not going outside at all. So I had plenty of time to devote to these videos. And as I was going through them, I stumbled upon a series of his videos on Bhagavad Gita. My old love was rekindled. And this pious monk, Swami Sarvapriyananda, spoke a lingo with which I could connect immediately. Fluent English, a lot of reference to Western thinkers and scientists, along with a very convincing and easy to understand style. He was just the person made for me. In the first two videos of 1.5 hours each, I realized that before I embark on a journey to understand Bhagavad Gita, I need to apprehend a few concepts like aparoksh anubhuti, drisya vivek, savikar nirvikar, chit jad, ekam anekam, antar bahya, avasthatraya vichar, panchakosh vichar, and concepts like Brahman and Maya, just to name a few important ones. I spent almost 1 year listening, reading, and taking down notes to understand those esoteric concepts. Grounded in these, I again approached Bhagavad Gita. And this time, dear friends, Bhagavad Gita took me very kindly in her fold. And now I do understand this song of the God. but each reading reveals something new. For example, Siddharth Krishnaji's explanation gave a new meaning to Pap, Punya, Shobh, and Moh. Remember how I asked him to give an detailed commentary on chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita because I had personal uh, memories connected with this. So, alongside my study of Bhagavad Gita, I also started reading lives of saints in recent past. Believe me, it strengthened my faith in spirituality. There may be large number of deceitful Babajis around, and we must be wary of them. But the lives of genuine saints, as proved by their own experiences and those of people around them, if you really read them and you try to understand them, they can truly help one in the advancement of spiritual life. So, in this vein, lives of Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans and many of his followers, including Swami Vivekananda, engrossed me well over 2 years. Reading lives of Nisargadatta Ji Maharaj, Tailang Swami, Pawai Baba, Pama Khepa, the ardent devotee of Ma Tara, and Anandmayi Ma, was really enthralling. These days, Ramana Maharshi and his explanation of Ribhu Gita are my heart's fervor. The basic premise of Ribhu Gita is that you are ever free and ever liberated. We don't really need to search after moksha. Ribhu Gita is a chant to condition the mind to give up its role as a leader and chill in silence. We need to practice to overcome the conditioning of the mind for many, many lives, saying, you are not supreme, you are only tiny, insignificant, powerless, ordinary human being. That's what we all believe. And we can't say to ourselves that we are enlightened. Aham Brahmasmi and Shivoham. It seems they are meant for somebody else, not for us. You think you need some other authority to prove your enlightenment. Raman Maharshi used to have the Ribhu Gita read out loud in the assembly around him daily. The basic mantra of Ramana Maharshi is be still, don't think. Deep but heartening precepts indeed. A book titled Pearls of Vedic Wisdom to Succeed by Dr. Yogi Devraj, Arun Kumar, and C.V. Venugopalan also helped me by giving the entire Vedic wisdom in a very concise form, in a capsulated form. It is also available as ebook on Google. So, what is my story worth? In this group, where most people excel in one or the other branch of science or knowledge in general, and can rip apart every knowable concept with their logic and learning, how would my story of transition from literature to spirituality help? See, I had not inherited spirituality. For a considerable part of my life, I had no interest in spirituality apart from a practice of saying my prayers for 5 minutes just before starting my day. And majority of people are like this. So there is hope for everybody. My story says that there is hope for everybody. If by the grace of God, this 5 minute prayer can blossom and bloom to occupy the major part of one's life, one is a blessed soul. And what about literature? Why do I say that literature is at the top amongst all academic disciplines? One may not pursue it as a profession, but one must always be in touch with it because it sensitizes and prepares one for the zone of ultimate knowledge. Though when one enters that amorphous space in one's mind, even literature gets dropped. It would have served its purpose of pushing one into a nebulous zone where each one is to oneself, groping in the dark, to emerge into a resplendence beyond description. Friends, while narrating all this, I have sidestepped many lanes and by lanes. But the main thread of my story I have shared with you. Hope it is of some worth to somebody at least. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Uh, Now, I think we are open to any discussion points or any queries, questions. Is that okay, ma'am, or will you like to continue after a break?
No, no, it's perfectly fine. I mean, I'm finished.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. So we are open for any further discussions on this. Any queries, any points from anyone? Kindly unmute yourselves. Everyone is muted. Okay, I can see Sarda Prasad ji raise his hand. So, sir, please go ahead. You have to unmute yourself. You can switch on your video also now.
Ma'am, beautiful narration. No comments. Everyone's journey is unique, so no comments. Only ask you one thing that you have gone through various spiritual readings, and you have otherwise also much readings. Among these various spiritual readings, is it you have found always everything is consistent? Like you have exposed yourself to many readings now, or there are different concepts, and you overall arrive at some overall combination of all this.
No, sir. In fact, the main thread in all the readings, in all the systems, is the same. It is the Vedic knowledge, which runs. But each system, each unit interprets it in a little different way. If you go to the order of Swami Ramakrishna Paramhans, they stick to the Vedic knowledge and they simply interpret the Upanishads, and that's the knowledge uh, from there. But if you go to Ramana Maharshi, he too is an Advaitin, but he interprets this knowledge in his own way. And according to him, as I said, uh, be still, just be still and be silent, no thoughts at all. This is his uh, this is his practice point. So basically, it is the same thread which runs all over the Vedic thought. Only people interpret it in their own way with a little difference. When I go to when I read all these, I pick up what suits me as a person. For example, I wouldn't go into hatha yoga of Patanjali because I'm not built that way. Knowledge or bhakti is more suitable for me. So, one can read all these things and pick up whatever suits you. And even if you don't read all these things, even if you don't read all these things, you can just pick up one and devote yourself to it. I think the entire knowledge system will be revealed to you. I devoted all this time because COVID was there and I had plenty of time, and I found this love for spiritual reading kindled in my mind, and like I must say, like a mad person, I was going through the entire study. But it's all right even if you do it in a normal way, but pick up any one system and go with it.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome, sir.
Uh,
Uh,
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I can see Sarita ma'am has also raised her hand. So, Sarita ma'am, over to you. And after that, I'll come to Sunil Kumar ji.
It was excellent talk and really made me think couple of things. So why did you leave literature? Did just forced? I mean, what was the reason? Because personally, I think, do you really need spirituality? Do you really need to leave everything to become spiritual? Or does it make you that way? Because I am still working and I feel that I am on a right path, and I hear all of you, and I feel like, yes, I should be doing all that. I should be meditating. I mean, it's like a, but do I need to stop everything and go and join spirituality?
no, ma'am. You don't have to force yourself. Don't force yourself for anything at all. Everything will come on its own from within. And why did I leave literature? The unsimple answer is, see, I have only 24 hours a day. Either I read this or I read that. And when I started reading this, I lost interest in that. I lost interest in that. I've started feeling that it is all imagination's work. And I don't need to go into that. I need something more profound and something which can really help me in my onward journey. That's why I left. There's nothing wrong with literature. In fact, I say that literature is the ladder which helps you to take this leap into this, final zone. At least it happened with me. Had I not been sensitized by literature, maybe I would have been a different person. That's why I say whatever profession you follow, all professions are okay, but one must always keep in touch with literature because it melts you down. It prepares you for that final leap. And you really need a melting down to enter into spirituality. And now this melting down can mean so many things.
Thank you so much.
I hope I have answered your question because
Yeah.
you've raised this question quite a number of times, even in the group also. You've raised this question. And
Yes,
I can
because
I can feel the sincerity in your voice. And but rest assured, ma'am, you really don't need to force yourself for anything. Only have that desire, have that inkling, that passion in you that you want to do something this side. Automatically, things will start happening. We don't have to do anything. No force is needed.
Mhm. I mean, I don't force myself. It just came automatically. One day, I feel like I have to do something different than just the medicine. It just came in my mind.
Beautiful, ma'am. Just let yourself. Yeah,
Yeah, and
just flow with the whatever comes your way.
yeah, and one thing I was talking to Arun Roy, sir, and I said, certainly I have no fear of death. One day I thought, okay, I can go in night alone, go, and I don't feel that I have fear of that. And he said, this is one of the sign that your path is like the first sign maybe towards spirituality that you lose the fear of death.
This is
So
a,
I,
in fact,
yeah,
it comes, at higher stage.
yeah, certainly I was alone in house, and I used to close the window doors and like a covering and in night and turn the alarm on, all those things. And one day that I lost everything. I mean, I thought, no, I don't have to do it. I don't close the window, I don't close the door, and I do not cover windows, and I don't turn the alarm on. So it's like a sudden change, which I realized. But I always have difficulty that you have to leave everything and to go through this path. As a
You don't
child,
have to leave.
yeah,
No,
as a
don't leave
child,
anything.
as a
Don't leave
child, when I
anything,
was,
ma'am.
yes, good, because I'm not ready for that.
No, no,
So
no.
as a
There's
child,
absolutely no need to leave anything. If at all anything has to be left, that will happen automatically. You don't have to do it in a in a conscious way, that way. If anything needs to be left out, it will be left out automatically without your effort.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll let others question now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I can see Mr. Sunil Kumar Gupta has raised his hand. So, sir, over to you. You can unmute yourself. You are muted. Mr. Gupta, can you hear us? आपको unmute करना होगा अपने आप को अगर आप question पूछना चाह रहे हैं तो. I think there is a problem probably with his mic or something. So we'll now go over to other team members here. So does anybody have any comments, any points or any questions, any discussion points?
Dr. Jha has raised his hand.
Yeah, Dr. Jha.
Yeah.
So Dr. Jha, आपका वो कैमरा कहीं
just
और
wo-
चला गया है सर.
Am I audible?
Yes sir, you are audible, पर वो पानी का
Okay.
जग ही दिख रहा है. आपका कैमरा कहीं और पॉइंट कर रहा है.
Camera.
अब सही है सर. अब नहीं, अभी भी
पता
नहीं.
नहीं
अभी भी आपकी तरफ नहीं है. वो पानी का जग ही दिख रहा है.
ये कैसे.
आपका एक्सटर्नल कैमरा है या आपने वो लैपटॉप वाला ऑन किया हुआ?
गैलरी. फिर से करते हैं.
Sir, you can go ahead and ask your question. No problems. Camera has some issue.
Now it seems to be okay.
Yes.
Ji, sir. Ji.
It's there's some technical flaw. I need not repeat that this has been an excellent half an hour or 45 minutes listening to Indu ma'am. My own experience that I am a student of science. I am a believer in higher powers of spirituality, and I believe I am a student of literature. And this
You are.
interest in literature started right in my school days. Again, it was not anything structured. I started reading anything that was available in my school library, and later on guided by some of my teachers of literature and my librarian, who were very kind to lend me books. I believe that having some interest in literature and reading good books made me a better doctor than I would have been without being familiar with what is there in the literature.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
as Indu ma'am said, that with the foundation of literature, migrating or upgrading yourself into the realm of spirituality without even having a guru to guide you, it becomes easier as compared to those who have had no interest in literature. That is my experience. And even now, I don't believe I have to give up my medical profession or finding out a space for myself to read a good book. And I still believe that I can find enough time for my daily pujas, prayers, meditation, and trying to understand difficult, insights into what we call dharma, spiritualism, etc. It's a process of evolution, and it's an ongoing job. I don't know when will that inner inspiration or inner voice or call will come when I one day decide that I'm no more a doctor, I'm no more reading any book on literature, I'm leaving all my house and going to ashram. So basically, a grihastha like me, who is honest towards his profession, honest towards the family. I have my parents with me, and I'm lucky that they are still there with me. Then I have only one daughter who is still in a college. She's doing her post-graduation in dentistry, that what we call orthodontics. She's an MDS student. She's my only child. So we are discharging all these responsibilities is also a form of being a religious person. That is my
बिल्कुल
simple understanding of it.
बिल्कुल
I
बिल्कुल
would
सर
love to have more space and a teacher who can gradually guide me into a real, meaningful spiritual domain. I believe a day will come. That is my strong conviction and inner belief that a day will come. I will find a guru. I'll find space and time for that. And I pray that I have that opportunity. But
सर
this
आप
on this platform, let me conclude, ma'am. I'd love to listen to you for as long as you
या या
are willing to
या
speak. That learning together, this platform has given us a variety of experience. And we have listened to erudite speakers, learned speakers on topics which normally I would not have paid even a fleeting attention. That is the beauty of this platform. That is the
true
beauty and strength of this
true
platform.
true absolutely true
I just pray and wish that it grows from strength to strength and we have more topics, more learned speakers. Really enjoying this. Thank you.
as
Thank you very much for you being with us this evening. Thank you very much.
झा डॉक्टर झा आपने जो कहा वो बिल्कुल सच है और जब अरुण जी ने कल ह्यूमन लाइब्रेरी की बात करी तो मुझे लगा कि लाइफ के एक्सपीरियंस को एक बहुत बड़े कॉन्सेप्ट के साथ जोड़ना ये भी एक बहुत बड़े कमाल की बात है। मैंने पहली बार ह्यूमन लाइब्रेरी की बात सुनी थी। आपने जो धर्म के संबंध में कहा, डेली पूजा की बात करी, मैंने बहुत पहले कहीं ये सुना था कि ईमान से अगर कोई नियम से, ईमान और नियम से अगर एक दिया भी जला दो तो समय आने पर वो खुद ब खुद एक बड़ी रोशनी बन जाता है। ईमान और कंसिस्टेंसी के साथ, नियम के साथ, तो वो एक बहुत बड़ी रोशनी बन जाता है। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि मैंने जो बातें कही आपके साथ शेयर की हैं, बिकॉज मैं भी आई स्टिल डोंट हैव अ गुरु। हालांकि मैंने एक बार शेयर किया था कि मैंने भगवान को ही अपना गुरु मान लिया है, बिकॉज मुझे समझ नहीं आता कि मैं कहाँ जाके गुरु ढूंढूं। तो लेकिन ये सारी जो, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि ये सब किताबें जो मेरी तरफ आई और मुझे जो ये सब कुछ मिल रहा है, और हमेशा कुछ नया मिल जाता है पढ़ने के लिए, समझने के लिए, तो ये गुरु भी तो यही करते ना। तो जब भगवान को गुरु मान लिया तो वो ही इज डूइंग व्हाटएवर ह्यूमन गुरु वुड हैव डन। सो आपका जो ये कहना कि मैं नियम से अपनी पूजा करता हूँ, आई थिंक दिस इन इटसेल्फ इज अ वेरी बिग थिंग। लेकिन ये नियम हमेशा बना रहना चाहिए। एंड as far as grihasth life is concerned and duties in grihasth life are concerned, I think सबसे पहला हमारा उन्हीं की तरफ ड्यूटी है। सबसे बड़ा धर्म हमारा वही है। हमने एक चीज को स्टार्ट करके अगर उसको बीच में छोड़ दिया तो वो एक बड़ी अच्छी संसार से भागे फिरते हो तो भगवान को तुम क्या
भगवान को
पाओगे,
तुम क्या पाओगे?
क्या पाओगे।
Yes.
तो ये इसलिए इस चीज को तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं, जो हमने एक स्टार्ट किया है गृहस्थ जीवन में, जो जिम्मेदारियों का सिलसिला, उसको छोड़ देना तो बिल्कुल भी सही नहीं है. So you have really said very rightly, and thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Jha and Indu ma'am. Thanks a lot. And I can see Rakesh Bajpayee ji raising his hand. So Rakesh ji, over to you. You can unmute yourself.
Indu ma'am, firstly, thank you for sharing your story, and I think it was really, really touching and enlightening. I have two questions. You mentioned about Mandi Sirji's Gurbani sessions. By any chance, are these recorded and available anywhere? That is my first question. Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, Mandy sir has recorded quite a number of things. I will ask him
Okay.
if these recordings are there. No, if I recall truly, he said that because, during the recordings, we used to talk about quite in a very unconventional way also.
Okay.
So he said that I'm not going to record these, but still,
Sure.
He has quite a number of other recordings which are available. I'll ask him. I have a few of them. I can share them with you.
Great, great. The second question, ma'am, was I would be more interested to understand how this whole thing has changed you as a person, how you see yourself now as against what you must have seen yourself, when your spiritual journey started. Thank you.
Rakesh ji, uh, even I feel that I have changed greatly. I was more prone to emotional outbursts. Maybe it be anger or, so many others. But with time, after going through this phase, um, I have become more mellow as a person. And, before I started all this, anger was my my weakness. So I used to, when I started thinking about all these things, so बहुत सारे लोग कहते थे कि गुस्से को दबाने के लिए पहले 1 से 10 तक गिन लो और पानी का ग्लास पी लो, गुस्सा दब जाता है. But at the moment of anger, neither that counting from 1 to 10 nor the glass of water would strike. After the burst of anger was over, then I would remember, ओहो, यहाँ तो मुझे 1 से 10 गिनना था और मुझे पानी का ग्लास पीना था. I was unable to do anything about my anger. And somehow now I don't even have to drink water and count from 1 to 10. Somehow I have become a lot more mellow. And this, I think, nothing else, if nothing else, at least I have climbed up one step of the ladder.
Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank
Answered
you so
your
much.
question.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rakesh ji and Indu ma'am once again. I can see Colonel Khalid. He has raised his hand and he has switched on his video as well. Colonel Khalid, over to you, sir. You can ask your question.
I am Colonel Khalid. Thanks for the excellent talk. First, let me admit that having served in the army for last 37 years and now with the police for 8 years, so nearly for 45 years, I've been controlled by my head rather than my heart. But now I am gradually getting into this, and your talk has been excellent. I think it will be the precursor to start a new inning with the spiritualism. Thanks a lot, ma'am. And we would like to hear more talks like this from you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Khalisa.
Thank you, Colonel Khalid, and thank you, ma'am, once again. Do we have anyone else for any questions or any comments, discussion points? Okay, so ma'am, I actually had a question which was already asked by Sarita ma'am, and you already answered my question, so I'm not going to repeat it. Just that I wanted to speak what was there in my mind. And I think I spoke about it earlier also, that I'm not a spiritual person at all, but I'm a believer in God. Kind of sanskar that I got from my parents, my grandparents, particularly my grandmother. I saw she was a lady whom I worshipped till date, because she was such a simple person. Of course, she was a God-fearing lady, but she was very kind to others. Like anybody comes to our house, she will not allow that person, go without having some food or some water or anything else that she did. And in that, I found that that used to give her a lot of happiness. As a child, I used to watch this, that she used to have a lot of happiness when she did something like this. And on in the when it comes to spirituality or other customs related to religion, she would read probably Ramayana once in a while. Ramcharitmanas she will open and read, but nothing more than that. So probably the same thing continued in me. But on the other side, my wife, she became a very, very spiritual person in 2002. She got an opportunity, and probably I spoke to Arun sir about it, how she got that opportunity and she became. And then I found that she was altogether on a different path. And then uh, unfortunately, we went through a rough patch of life. And not me, but in her case, her spiritual strength helped her a lot to overcome that crisis, a lot. As far as I am concerned, I continued with the additional responsibility which had come to me because she was going through a difficult patch health wise. So I was busy in that, and I never thought about these things. It's just that I believe in God, and every morning I'll do bit of हाथ जोड़ के पूजा करना और करना, बस इतना ही करता हूँ मैं. But she has done lot of reading, and in fact, the bookshelf behind me is full of her books on spirituality. But being so close together, that spirituality never got rubbed off to me. Like I'm still, I won't say I even I've taken baby steps. I have not even taken baby steps in this field. So I don't know when my turn will come, or when I'll get my chance, or when that inner desire will come. But yes, as you said, and that has given me a lot of solace, that maybe sometime in my life I'll get this opportunity. And yeah, ma'am,
Ash,
you wanted to say.
Ash, yes, Ashutosh, I just want to tell you something. I got in one of those videos. Actually, we all of us, the entire cosmos, all creation, animate as well as inanimate, is moving towards perfection. Let us call it moksha. We are all moving towards perfection. Somebody is a little ahead, the other ones are a little on a back foot. Otherwise, all of us, the entire cosmos is moving towards perfection. So the question doesn't arise that, someday, that day particularly will come to you, will come to you, because we are all moving towards that. It's only a matter of, when probably, I don't know what is hindering it, or, I mean, it is, we don't know, but we are all moving towards that. So there is no question about that. And secondly, it is not about doing or not doing anything. Rituals or no rituals at all. It's not about that. It's, it is entirely different from religion. Religion can help, but spirituality is all different from religion. Religion or no religion, doing or not doing, nothing matters. What I think matters is have a thought in your mind for God, a passion for God. That's about it. He will take care of everything. Just that. Honestly telling, like, because I am in that mood today. I mean, there was a time, even now, the most cathartic thing for me is to sit in my puja room, talk about my problems to my God, and then cry to my heart's content. Nothing is more cathartic than that. Not talking to anyone else in the world. So believe me, it's just the inner feeling and you connect with the one above. That's the only important thing.
Yes. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Sarda Prasad ji, I can see once again your hand is raised. Is that anything that you want to talk, sir? Okay, probably forgot to put it down. So I think I don't see any more new hands raised or any more questions. So with that, thank you so much, Indu ma'am. It was a real pleasure and we all had been fortunate to listen to your discourse. Thank you so much for this session. And with this, yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much.
Thank you so much.
So